There is no Planet T in Portugal designing a bachelor's degree in textile design for Portugal. By Sonia Seixas, Johnny Montagna, and Maria João Felix from Portugal, with special acknowledgement to FCT, CIAUD, and Lisbon School of Architecture from Universidade de Lisboa. The purpose of this exploratory study is to understand and reflect on Portuguese higher education in textile design and to make recommendations for the different actors involved, academia, industry, and designers. In Portugal, there is no bachelor's degree in textile design only. Of the 7 Portuguese bachelor's degrees in textile and fashion design, only 2 deal with the universe of textile design, the Bachelor's in Fashion and Textile Design of ASART and the Bachelor's in Fashion and Textile Design and Production of ISMET. Which leads us to the question, which textile designers does Portugal train? The textile industry is undergoing a process of change in its production processes and business models to minimize the environmental impact caused. And the role of the textile designer is fundamental in the decisions made during the creative process, as a large part of the environmental impact of textile products is determined in the design phase. A new mindset focused on the circular economy must be encouraged. The field of design is either interdisciplinary and multifaceted. Designers do not create isolated solutions, nor are solutions necessarily tangible. Curricula need to be changed, and a transdisciplinary approach can be a path to closer dialogue between academia, industry, and designers. The higher education system is evolving in response to cultural, technological, and economic change and sweeping global transformations. New individualized forms of learning are emerging based on what students learn, rather than how much time they spend in the classroom. It is essential to rethink learning and education to meet the demands of the changing world and actively shape our own future. With digitalization, learning can happen anywhere, making students key players in their own learning. The role of teachers must also change and become facilitators, teaching students how to learn by teaching critical thinking and creative thinking as essential skills. Design activity requires multidisciplinary collaboration to manage complexity and should be done in close collaboration and interaction with other knowledge domains. New forms of teaching are needed that go beyond the traditional approach and train the ability to apply theoretical knowledge to real-world problems that includes formal and non-formal learning. Pedagogical approaches are sought that can teach textile designers how to manage these changes from society, industry, and the planet. Portugal has a centuries-old history, with the textile industry being one of the oldest. In 2021, the Portuguese textile industry has increased its export volume by 16% compared to 2019, demonstrating its importance to the Portuguese social and economic. The textile industry is undergoing a process of change due to its less than positive impact on the environment and the amount of waste generated. In Portugal, there is no textile design-focused higher education that trains textile designers with a mentality oriented towards the circular economy, in order to support and contribute to the construction of a promising textile ecosystem with a promising future. A focus group was held, attended by experts from the sector, to hear their opinion on building an academic curricula for textile design that can address the emerging and future needs of the textile sector, academia, and textile designers. The results lead us to conclude that such education should include a large practical component through hands-on and experimental learning, learning by doing, and the incorporation of traditional and digital textiles techniques. To this end, it is important to create a closer relationship between academia, interface centers, and industry to provide students with experience in a real environment. Collaborative strategies such as workshops, immersive weeks, and the realization of concrete projects can be used to help students understand the technological frontiers through a collaborative dialogue between creativity and production. It is important to consider new teaching formats with more innovative and differentiated strategies and methods. In light of this feedback, we have designed a script of a teaching model for learning textile design that focuses on active teaching and learning strategies. A learning based on practice, learning by doing, trial and error, exchange of ideas, collaboration that includes exploration, interaction, experimentation, and reflection action. Learning focuses on real-world problems by increasing student engagement and allowing them to acquire cross-cutting skills such as teamwork, communication, creative and critical thinking, among others, in addition to theoretical and practical content. The model is divided into 3 major blocks of learning. Foundational, to fill possible gaps that affect their training or practice, being more oriented to the specific philosophy and culture of design. Core, to develop essential skills associated with the universe of textile design with textile materials and techniques. Specific, to develop their own skills in the different areas of intervention of textile design. This model is structured to expose students to a range of critical topics while allowing them the flexibility to tailor their learning through the integration of elective disciplines so that they can tailor their academic and professional profiles according to their interests. The first year focuses on experimentation where students are exposed to a range of skills in the various areas of textile design, nonwovens, woven, knitwear, printing, finishing, and embellishment. With an emphasis on applied teaching, textiles are studied in their broader universe, allowing for the acquisition of fundamental knowledge about the textile design universe. The goal is not to train students to become masters of weaving or any other specific technique, but to become designers who also understand production processes and are able to evaluate and compare different options and their consequences. To become a textile designer, one must learn and practice to deal with the processes. The second year focuses on immersion, allowing students to direct their learning to the area of textile design with which they most identify and deepen their knowledge. Materials and surfaces are designed for a variety of objects, with an understanding of the user and the context in which the surface will be used. Be aware of the designer's responsibility to promote a more just society and create a more sustainable future. The third year is dedicated to consolidation in what has been learned with the development of an individual project according to their interests. By acquiring creative, specific, professional, and entrepreneurial skills, the student will be able to face the challenges of the creative textile industry. This approach assumes that, in addition to acquiring specific skills, students will learn to communicate, work in teams, share ideas, be independent. The study concludes that Portuguese higher education in textile design is limited and should be complemented with a specialized offer in this field in a close relationship between academia and industry to allow shared education. It is important to strengthen this relationship to enable differentiated instructional strategies that provide students with experiences in a real-world environment. Learning that focuses on practice and experimentation, and thus a better understanding of technological boundaries through a collaborative dialogue between creativity and production. It is believed that the most important contribution to design with this study was the opportunity to show guidelines for constructing a model of teaching and learning in textile design in the form of collaborative teaching that incorporates formal and non-formal learning strategies, contributing to weaving a textile economy of the future that ensures the socio-environmental well-being of the human being and the planet. And for this, it is necessary to begin to delicately weave a curriculum based on the looms of knowledge, a proposal with which the author of this study proposes contributing to the progress of knowledge in this area in Portugal. Thank you.